Good afternoon, everyone, and welcome to our very first SmartBear webcast. On behalf of Lifeboat Distribution and SmartBear, I'd like to thank everyone for joining us today. We've got a great show ahead. Today's focus will concentrate on how you can grow your business with TestComplete, SmartBear's award-winning test automation software. The recent winner of the Dr. Dobb's Jolt Award for Best Testing Tool, TestComplete improves the quality and performance through the entire software development, testing, and post-production lifecycle. As always, I'm your host, Joe Hamlin. I'm part of Lifeboat Distribution's dedicated business development team. Now to introduce the panel. Today I'm joined with Casey Lincoln, VP of Marketing at SmartBear. Casey has more than 15 years of experience driving superior results through the development of innovative marketing strategy and robust marketing infrastructure. Casey, how are you today?
I'm doing great. Thanks for having me.
All right, fantastic. Also joining us today is Sergei Sokolov, VP of Market Production. Sergei is a 15-year veteran that has held positions from engineering management to professional services, as well as pre-sales and product management. Sergei, how are you?
Very good. Pleased to be here.
Great. And lastly, joined by Debbie Decoulos, SmartBear Channel Sales Manager. She's been in channel sales and high-tech sales for 20-plus years, working with partners, distributors, and enterprise clients. Debbie, how are you today?
I'm doing great. Thanks, Joe, for having us.
That's great. I'd like to thank Casey, Sergei, and Debbie for taking the time to sit with us today. We're very excited to talk to them about TestComplete and the benefits of SmartBear's software line. Okay, before we get started, I'd like to remind everyone that we encourage you to ask questions throughout this session. You can do so by answering your questions in the Q&A panel at the right-hand side of the screen. Just to let you know, we'll be throwing out some polling questions throughout the program, so look out for those and please remember to answer those. At the end of the session, we'll get to as many of the Q&A questions as possible, time permitting. As always, at the end of the program, we'll be giving away a $100 Amex gift card, so please remember to stick around for that. Okay, moving forward here, we're going to start out with Casey. I'd like to start by going over SmartBear's history in the market and how the product has progressed since its genesis. Can you give us a brief history lesson?
Sure, no problem. Thanks for having us. Yeah, I'll answer the question in two parts. First, from a company perspective, just so people get a little background, SmartBear is the result of an acquisition of three companies by our private equity backer, which is Insight Venture Partners. Those companies were a company called Automated QA, which is the company that the TestComplete product that we're talking about today came out of. SmartBear Software, which is a company that had some development products, and Pragmatic Software, who had a product called Software Planner, which was obviously in the project management space, the ALM space. And since that time, we've acquired two additional companies, a company called AlertSite. AlertSite is a product that is a web monitoring product, and Everywhere, who makes SoapUI. SoapUI is kind of the de facto standard for API testing in the industry. It has an open source product as well as another product, a trial product and full version product that you can use, which provides a little bit more functionality. Since those companies have come together, we are, and as always have been, a profitable company. We're growing at about 55% compound annual growth per year. If you normalize that with the acquisitions that we've done over the years, it's still a 32% growth rate, so a majority of our growth is actually organic year over year. And the other thing that's unique about us is we're a try before you buy model, which is really something that we are happy to offer to our prospects. We like them to use our software before they take the plunge. We have over 1.5 million people using our software because we have OS versions, free versions, and obviously the trial versions of our free software, which are fully supported. One thing that I really like as the VP of Marketing here is, every 17 seconds someone downloads a SmartBear product, either one of those OS, free, or trial versions of our product. And every 55 seconds, we actually have a new adopted user. So they might download it and then start using it. And then every 10 minutes, we have a new paid user. So in the space, we're really making an indelible mark over time in the automated software quality market. So that's something we've really been able to achieve, putting these 3 companies together and acquiring the other 2 over the past 3 or 4 years. Our mission is actually kind of geeky. I mean, it's really to eliminate the new breed of software defects, and that comes straight out of marketing, so I'll tell you what that really means down at the base level is if you think about software development over the years, from desktop to the web to API to the cloud and mobile and all those systems working together, and having users want to have a ubiquitous experience across those different ways that they use software, really, it cascades the opportunity for there to be software defects. And software development is far more complex than it ever has been, and will continue to get more complex as, at the same time, we use more and more software every day. If you think of planes that were developed 20 years ago and 40 years ago, other than the composites on the outside of the plane, it basically looks the same, but the whole inside of the plane is run in a different way. Or the same can be true of healthcare, banking, and then, of course, obviously, big tech has really exploded as well. So software is a rising tide, and we've been really one of the boats that has been raised by it. From a product perspective, we really have products across the whole automated software quality spectrum. We have products for developers, for QA testers, for DevOps professionals or IT ops professionals that make their jobs easier and their software better. Some of our products include, code and document review products. We have a product that's a leading product in its space called Collaborator. We have API and unit testing products. That's the SOAP product I talk about, which is the de facto standard for API testing. We have memory leak profiling products, which and performance profiling products from our AQA group called AQTime. We have load testing products in a family called Load UI, so that you can check your loads and make sure your software is performing under load. We have website monitoring products, so we can tell you if your deployed software has any issues, or if maybe it's a network issue. And then, of course, the product we're going to focus on today through Sergei is our QA testing product, which is one of our cornerstone products. And again, we're just a company that's excited about software quality. I've talked about the history of software development and how complex it's become. And really, who are our customers? We really have customers all over the map. It's anyone who cares about creating better software. We have people in aero defense. The slide up right now has some people like Raytheon, General Dynamics, Northrop Grumman, Lockheed Martin, financial services, PwC, Allianz, Raymond James, TD Securities, UBS, all the big names. Retailers, e-tailers, we have JetBlue, enterprise software, Microsoft, Inuit, Adobe, SAP, Oracle, and obviously big tech who uses software, Google, Intel, Sony, Cisco, and Apple. So the challenge for us isn't to try to find the target, isn't to try to find the right customers, it's to find the right job titles in those customers, but really the QA tester and the developer are the ones that we're going to talk, and the IT ops people, the DevOps people, which is what the name's becoming now, are the folks who really most use our software and the folks we talk to most across our target market.
Thanks, Casey. So what the resellers really want to know is, why SmartBear? What sets you guys apart from the rest in the market?
Yeah, that's a great question, and a few things set us apart. The first and biggest that sets us apart is our value proposition, and I think TestComplete is in the sweet spot of that compared to all of our other products for the most part. Not that we don't have that philosophy with all of them, but our philosophy is that we have a full suite of products that we actually don't sell in a suite. You can get the point solutions, so it's not a CIO or CTO level sale. It's a team lead sale, whether that's a director or a team lead manager. And our value proposition is very strong at that level. They usually have purchase authority at that level. The products function in a comparable way to those big suite products. A big competitor of ours, for instance, is HP, and we provide comparable functionality at a fraction of the cost of HP. Second, it's our business model. You can try our product before you buy it. The developer, tester, and DevOps market is a very sensitive market, and they like to try and get their hands on things before they before it's something that's forced on them from like the CIO or CTO level. And third, it's our go-to-market approach. It really talks about our land and expand approach with our products. Our average selling price of an initial new deal is about $5,000. And I don't want to discourage anyone, because if you map out our customer set, our top 15 customers are all deep into the six figures, all of them over $500,000, many of them over $1 million. And not ironically, even with those products, even with those customers, if you calculate the average selling price, it is exactly what our average selling price is, $5,000. In fact, our biggest customer is close to a $2 million customer, and their first sale was a $1,000 sale. So we have a product that spreads virally within an organization and allows you to get in, make an easy sale initially, but then grow that existing account in a very aggressive and quick way, leading to big dollars over time. So that's really what sets us apart from some of the competitors in our space.
That's great. Yeah, that makes total sense. You'd like to test the car before you buy it, so to speak. Going forward now, let's transition over to Sergei. I see TestComplete was just awarded the Dr. Dobb's Jolt Award for Best Testing Tool. Congratulations on that. Can you explain to the audience what TestComplete is and why it is the best testing tool for those who aren't familiar?
Certainly. Well, it's certainly a very exciting moment in our history. TestComplete has gotten a few Jolt Awards before, so-called productivity awards, which basically amounts to a runner-up. And in its 11th year, it's a pretty mature tool. It's actually got the top, what we can say, the top dog award, which was accompanied by the quote from the managing editor, which I think is kind of material to illustrate the point. The reason TestComplete is mentioned in the Jolt Awards year after year is because it consistently raises the bar for what a high-quality software testing suite should be. So we basically have eventually raised the bar so that we're up there and we're the best tool. TestComplete is a functional automated test tool which essentially focuses on user interface testing for web and Windows applications. It was first released in 2001. As Casey mentioned, it was under a company called Automated QA. And it's now nearing its version 10. We're planning to release it in December. So the main purpose of TestComplete is reduce the effort that people spend on testing software by hand and let the computer do it.
Very good. Can you also explain the significance of automation in testing and why it's important?
Of course, if we talk about tools, well, we should understand why people would even bother spending money on them. So the significance of software testing can be best summed up by a known phrase: if you don't test it, it doesn't work. So there are certainly different industries that pay different attention, extend different effort, and allocate different budgets for testing. But no matter what, testing is a significant known part of a software development lifecycle. How much time and money a company spends on testing basically is determined by their sensitivity to bugs or their customers' sensitivity to bugs. For example, if you take aviation software, medical software, that certainly gets a lot of testing because defects can be literally deadly. On the other hand, if you take lightweight games, smaller productivity apps, small social websites, etc., they don't necessarily get that much testing, and that kind of shows. And ultimately, testing is about reducing risk. So commensurate with the risk, people decide how much time and people are going to allocate to testing their apps. So testing can be manual, testing can be automated. Manual is basically there is a tester who sits in front of the app and plays a user. They use applications as if they were a user and figure out whether the application works as they expect, as the specifications describe it should work, etc. that obviously takes a lot of time, and more often than not, there is a lot of repetition in doing these tests. And so to address that repetition, because unlike in the past when testing was done at the very end of the life cycle to before release, now people release on a monthly or quarterly, monthly, or even weekly basis. And then imagine just repeating all those tests over and over and over. So now the computer comes into the picture, and automated tools essentially are programmed to run these tests through UI or through APIs. So they essentially bring substantial cost savings into the test process. They are far more efficient. They make less mistakes. They don't get tired, etc. They don't completely replace manual testing, and usually the most effective model is to have a combination of both, where you have human intelligence focusing on aspects that require intelligence, and tools that automatically run overnight or whatever other time intervals that take care of testing things that need to be tested over and over and over and over. And with the split, you essentially get to a point where test, as opposed to being a feared overhead, is generally good for business because it reduces risk, it ensures the high quality of software, and at the same time, it doesn't actually cost too much. And affordable tools like TestComplete certainly make it pretty pragmatic to get the automated testing in practice.
So it seems as though you get a full spectrum of testing with TestComplete. Is that right?
Certainly. We started with Windows applications because back in 2001, if you think about it, that's pretty much what mattered. Mm-hmm. And TestComplete supports testing of almost anything that runs on Windows, you name it. It's C, C++, Java, interesting language called Delphi, which actually is a pretty good language, but not that widely used. That's supported by Embarcadero now, but it was a borrowed language. Visual Basic, C#, .NET, etc., etc. And then when we decided to go after web, we kind of did it in a similar fashion. We support almost anything that powers the web. ASP.NET and PHP, JavaScript, Ajax. We've done very well in RIA, rich internet applications with Flash and Silverlight. Now HTML5 came along, and we're right on top of that. So it's kind of all-in-one tool that you get to cover whatever technologies you might encounter in your enterprise. And it's good for big companies because typically they have more than one gig going. They may have different tiers of applications, internal, external, different maturity, from Windows to web to really cutting-edge web. They can get it covered with one tool. Also good for consultants because they, or even larger consultants can be one person, or it can be like Wipro, thousands and thousands of people, because they only need to train people in one test technology, and it covers a very wide range of application spectrum. So we really, I mean, that's one of the reasons that it was, I believe, voted the best testing tool, because it has one of the broadest available supports for sort of anything that runs as far as software goes.
Now, aside from that, what are some of the other aspects of TestComplete that really make it stand out among the other testing products that are in the market? You know, you just spoke about the languages that it uses, but what are some other aspects that really make this kind of stick out?
Price is good. There are products that are substantially more expensive. There are products that are kind of on par in price. But if you basically assess the technology per dollar, that's pretty unique. Another very useful component or a capability of TestComplete is runtime license. So essentially it has two tiers of licenses. One is for the tool that you use to create, debug, and check in tests so that they're cataloged. And the other so that those would be used by actual test engineers. And then runtime license, imagine you have hundreds and hundreds of tests that you need to run in a fairly short period of time, so you distribute them across a high number of machines so that you can get that done fairly quickly. And so what we provide is an environment where there are runtime versions of TestComplete. They're substantially cheaper, and they're used to run tests. So your overall investment in creating a very scalable infrastructure is relatively small, again, but you can accomplish a lot, because basically we have customers who run using these runtime licenses on a high number of machines. They run literally hundreds of tests in the span of 2 hours. That enables them to release on a very frequent basis. If we take web testing, that's kind of the other side of need, or maybe one of the reasons you actually need to test on all these machines is testing on multiple browsers. We have 5 main browsers now on Windows. We have different versions of these browsers, some going back to several years that are still used, like Internet Explorer. And trying to test on all these browsers by hand, just swapping browsers, is pretty much impractical. So we have in TestComplete a very nifty capability to support cross-browser testing, and that's pretty unique in its simplicity, because with one click you can pretty much configure a test to run on all 5 browsers, and then with the runtime license deployment you can put all of that into your favorite test environment, whether it's real hardware or virtual. TestComplete also goes beyond testing just the UI, even though that's its main role in life is. It has facilities to test databases, so when you have multi-tiered apps and you want to trace, if you change some values and you input a transaction or some such, what defects are in the system, there are functions to go into the database and figure out what actually changed. It also has capability to look into the application, so it not only operates with the objects on screen, but it can control and check the internal application objects. So it's a pretty comprehensive way to structure your tests. So I guess I can go on and on and on about how wonderful it is. But one other thing I should mention is that we're pretty quick on our feet to support the new technologies. So for example, we typically put out new patches for new browsers within a week. So your Chrome comes out, you start scrambling, oh, how do I test that? And there's a patch of TestComplete, right? Some of the other vendors, you have to wait months before any major revisions of browsers are supported. So that's very important for people. And then we have different integrations. We integrate with bug trackers so that if tests fail, we can file bugs from within TestComplete. We integrate with Microsoft TFS, etc. So it plugs in very well with the development environment.
That's great. Now, TestComplete is designed for advanced and novice testers. Now that we're familiar with the product, what can resellers use as some tips and tricks for uncovering TestComplete opportunities on a day-to-day basis?
Great question, because ultimately it comes down to, can you sell the tool? Where do you find people to sell the tool to? We can start with novice and advanced, and I'll offer kind of the following analysis of the test teams which may be important. Generally speaking, a team who may be looking for an automated tool, and there are essentially 3 categories. There are manual testers who have gotten an edict from their manager to do some automation. So for them, what's important is the ramp-up. So they need training, they need good documentation and videos, they potentially need services, and they need a product that can take them step by step up the curve. And we're doing very well in all these dimensions. We have Online training, so there is a video library that can be purchased separately for along with TestComplete, and people can watch that at any point in time from wherever they want. We have partners who can do training with custom curriculum. The tool itself has interactive help, it has online help, and importantly, it has the recording capability. So typically what you would do if you're a manual tester, you would run your app and say, well, how can you automate that? Well, just basically press a button and the tool records what you did. And you can look at what kind of tests it created, what kind of scripts it created, and take that as a reference point and try to do your own. With respect to really advanced folks, and they may be either members of a team who are trying to put automation in place, or they may be members of the team who already have automation. They're looking for a better tool, and we see that all the time. On top of all the things that I mentioned, because even if you're an advanced tester, you still like convenience and you don't want to waste time looking for answers for some silly thing that you can find in help because it's poorly written. But the TestComplete is very extensible. So it has vast capabilities to data-driven testing, which is very important for complex applications. There are all sorts of wizards to read in Excel files and database tables, etc. So you can extend your test in a very creative way. And I've seen some totally mind-blowing examples of how people created test frameworks where they essentially add a row in Excel. They're very application-specific. Add row in Excel, and that amounts to adding a new test. So for the rest of the team, that's a piece of cake. You only need one wizard to set it up, and then you have 10 people on the team who are highly productive. Along the same vein, TestComplete is very extensible, so you can actually write custom screens and dialogues. So if you need to take care of some fairly arcane steps such as editing registry or accessing some data storage, etc., it's reasonably easy to write custom code, and it will appear just a standard TestComplete dialog. So if you put all that together, that's a pretty incredible package.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah, thank you, Sergei. We're going to switch over to Debbie now. Debbie, I didn't forget about you. Coming to the next question. TestComplete sales are growing revenue from channel partners and increased about 40% from 2012 to 2013. How can our resellers be a part of this growth, or better yet, increase this revenue year on end?
Thanks, Joe. The demand and revenue potential for resellers is huge. Global partners in North America and around the world are coming to SmartBear for software quality tools because their customers are looking for those leading edge technology. And we're prepared and committed to help them deliver and grow the business with sales of TestComplete. TestComplete is affordable. It's an enterprise class solution. It's approximately 20% less than other testing tools of the same caliber. And as Casey mentioned earlier, it's got an average selling price of about $5,000. So a really good opportunity there. And in addition to that, if that weren't enough, we offer a lucrative deal registration program, which is really designed to reward partners who are proactively promoting SmartBear solutions and TestComplete with additional margin to support their efforts by registering deals with the Lifeboat team. So in that deal registration, it's a minimum of $1,000, and the Lifeboat account managers can answer more questions around that, but it's a really good way to make some additional margin on products like TestComplete. And finally, to reiterate again, one of Casey's points is that SmartBear offers a try before you buy program, and on average we see about 100 to 150 TestComplete trial downloads each day. So this validates the huge demand and revenue potential for resellers on TestComplete specifically.
Yeah, that's great. I mean, from everything that Sergei said, I mean, at the price point, you really get a lot of bang for your buck, and the demo, the demo version, I'm sure helps, seal the deal, so to speak. Moving on now, can you give some insight on how your partner program works, and are there any requirements for resellers to sign up for that, and could you go over some of the benefits as well?
Yeah, I'd be happy to, Joe. Thanks. And your timing is perfect on this question because in late September, we just unveiled our new Partners by SmartBear program. At SmartBear, we are committed to our partners, and we view the partners as an extension of our sales force and also part of the SmartBear family. some of the recent investments that we've made, we're tripling the size of the channel sales team and also expanding our partnership with Lifeboat. And that really includes sales support, quoting, RFPs, order fulfillment, et cetera. And that partnership significantly increases all of the resources that are available to support the North America and international resellers in order to grow their SmartBear business. We offer three types of partnerships, including a value-added reseller and distributor partnership, an expert services partners, and also technology partners. And the SmartBear Partner Program provides our partners with business and technical resources to help support and sell, and most importantly, make money on the best quality software tools that are available.
That's great. Thank you, Debbie. All right, so finally, for the big question, I think this one's for you, Casey. What's in it for the reseller? Can a reseller make money selling TestComplete? I mean, from everything that Sergei said, it seems pretty easy, but maybe you could just give us a little more in depth on that question there.
Yeah, sure. Thanks. Absolutely. I mean, as Sergei said, TestComplete has an impeccable reputation, and with the try before you buy, once people try it, they're extremely happy with it and its features and functionality. Also, as I mentioned earlier, testers really like to choose their own products. They don't like to have something forced on them. So, to land with a tester and have them try a product that they feel is of high value and was made for them and is a product that they can use effectively, then you can really grow that account fast. And I'm the marketing guy, so I'll also throw some marketing statistics behind it. We serve basically the global application testing market. It's a big market. People think about what we're talking about, and it's kind of narrow, but it's a $16.5 billion market, and that market's growing at about 18% year over year. A portion of that market, which is where we're really focused as a company, the DevOps, mobile, and cloud and web app market, which TestComplete serves, that's a subsegment of that market, but that's still a $2.1 billion market, and it's growing at 30%. As Sergei said, being a smaller company than some of our major competitors, we're able to update and evolve the product real quickly, which differentiates us in the market. He used the browser example where we hear that all the time. And basically that's cited as support as it comes back to us from the market. Some of the bigger products have a hard time making the changes they need to make, and if you think about how often browsers are updated, for instance, it takes a while for them to get a product that's useful for them and serves their needs. So TestComplete has a huge advantage there and becomes sticky as a result. We're also, as Sergei mentioned, integrated with people's existing development environments, so that makes it a very easy and streamlined tool to use. Obviously, we have mentioned that we provide comparable functionality at a fraction of the price, and obviously, decent margins. We're a software product, so high margins in that space. And then what we find internally, and really is one of our major goals, and always has been, is once you land in an account, you experience substantial growth and an opportunity for additional TestComplete sales, but also other SmartBear product sales once you've penetrated that account. And software development and testing is just the rising tide that raises all boats right now. With the emergence of cloud, virtualized environments, mobile, software development is really exploding, as well as the use of software, not just on the consumer side, but in the everyday things that we do. From driving through toll booths to checking our bank account, those were things 15 years ago that we didn't use software to do, and now we rely heavily upon, as I mentioned, as well. And really, we've done a ton of studies of our own customers. One of my favorite studies is that, a software bug that can be found before it reaches production is, and we've looked at this in each different area, from dev to testing and testing to production. It's about a fifth of the cost if you find that bug in the test phase, in the QA phase. And a bug in production on average costs somebody $141,000. So by using our products and being able to save your customers that kind of money is an easy investment in a product that's a $5,000 average selling price. So, Yeah, it's very easy to sell in the market. There's a lot in it for resellers in terms of margins and stickiness and account expansion for sure.
Absolutely. Thank you. Okay, let's see if we have any questions from our audience now. Looks like we have one coming in from Kyle. I think this is going to go to you, Debbie. Kyle's looking to see if there's deal registration on some of the other SmartBear products, such as Test Executive and Code Collaborator, etc. Do you guys have deal reg for that?
We do. Thanks, Kyle, for the question. We do offer a deal registration program, and the only requirement is a $1,000 minimum. So it doesn't have anything to do with the products. All the products are deal registrationable, if that's a word. And from there, yes, you just submit that to your Lifeboat account manager, and then they'll talk to us at SmartBear, and we'll make sure that that gets turned around within, 24 hours at the most. But usually it's a much quicker process than that, with a matter of hours.
Thank you, Debbie. That's great. All right, moving right along here. Let's see. Looks like that's it for the questions right now. So now for the moment, our audience has been waiting for the Amex gift card giveaway for today. Drum roll, please. Our winner for today is Kyle Getz from, I believe it was SHI. Kyle Getz from SHI, congratulations, and thank you for participating today. Before we conclude, I'd like to review our call to action. If you liked what you heard here today and you want additional information regarding TestComplete, such as features, specs, and trial demos, please visit SmartBear's website listed below. Find out how you can partner with SmartBear that Debbie just spoke about via the link. And as always, do not hesitate to contact your dedicated Lifeboat sales executive for deal registration, pricing, pre-sales assistance, or any opportunity for that matter. We're happy to help. I'd like to thank our SmartBear panelists again for chatting with us today. I hope everybody enjoyed the webcast. And until next time, everyone, have a great afternoon, and we'll see you next time. Also, coming up at our Cross Connections event, visit SmartBear at their booth. They'll be at booth number 125. And don't forget to follow us on Twitter at LifeboatVAD. Thank you. Have a great day.